Hi, this is Brett Watwood. I'm going to be your instructor for EDU6323 Technology as a Medium for Learning. So let me spend a little time going over the course with you. So again, welcome to our spring course. I'm Brett Watwood. I'm also B. Watwood on Twitter. I've got a email address at Northeastern. I blog. I'm in LinkedIn. I'm in Facebook. I'm all over the web. I have a digital identity. And part of what we're going to be addressing in this course is how all of us have some form of digital identity. And in this modern era, when we think about technology for learning, 9 times out of 10, it has some implication with the web. And so the focus of this course will be on using the web for learning. Let me spend a little bit of time just going over the course itself. The outcomes are really to spend some time exploring. We're going to look at lots and lots of different processes on the web and how they might be used for learning. As part of that, we'll be exploring the ethical use and getting you to assess the value within your specific educational or training or needs. And we'll collaboratively do this. We'll learn from each other. I think in some ways this emulates exactly what we're talking about using the web for learning, because we will be doing this in a collaborative way on the web. We are going to be using Michelle Miller's new book, Minds Online, which in some ways is focused on online learning, and yet if you think about it, learning on the web is online learning. Online learning is a part of almost every educational facet today, whether we're talking K-12, higher education, or corporate training. And so I think the aspects of this book are a good one to underlay what we're going to look at. Michelle looks at aspects of attention, memory, thinking, motivation, and how some of that plays into multimedia. And so all of that will be aspects of what we'll look at. And each week as we look at a different process for learning, we'll be using Michelle's book as kind of the underpinning for that. So if you look at the course flow, we're going to start out with learning in a networked world. And then we have about 9 weeks of very specific aspects of learning using web technology, blogging, searching, tagging, collaborating, screencasting, polling. But you'll notice behind this I've got kind of this big circle that has attention, memory, thinking, and multimedia. And these are aspects of Michelle Miller's book that we're going to pull into these. And then the last couple of weeks we'll be looking at our own idea of a personal learning network and steps we should use for moving forward. We'll be doing much of our work in Blackboard, which you're used to, but we'll also be stepping outside of Blackboard. Every week we'll be using Twitter for a kind of tweet up, and I think that'll be a lot of fun. We'll use Facebook once or twice and see how it goes. We may use it more often if we need to. I also intend to not set up a water cooler in Blackboard because you're going to have a Facebook group to use for that. So that'll be a place just for you to go and hang out and kind of get to know each other better, in addition to some of the things we'll be doing in an educational way. And you'll notice Digo. Digo is a social bookmarking tool. We're going to be using that over about a 4-week period to collaboratively collect resources around certain topics and share them. So a mix of web tools inside and outside of Blackboard. And there'll be a lot of other tools we'll be looking at as we specifically focus in on technology for learning. So some things to do this first week besides watch this video. You need to set up a couple of accounts in Twitter and Facebook and Digo. If you don't already have one, sometimes it's a good idea to set up a dummy email account just to use for setting up these accounts, just so you don't get spammed down the road once you've set up an account. I'm also going to recommend you use either TweetDeck or Hootsuite to kind of pull your tweets together. I'll show you that in a second, but that's an important tool that can be used to manage things on the web. If you haven't had me before, one of the things you'll see very quickly is that I use a process called PI to organize my weekly lessons. And PI stands for Preparation, Interactions, and Evaluation. Now this comes out of St. Leo University down in Florida. They've been doing this for about a decade. And I really like the idea in an online class. So you'll see when I show you the class that I've organized each week under these 3 folders. Preparation is basically setting the stage, getting you to think about what's coming up, what are the learning objectives, what are the things you have to do each week. Interactions is where you do things. You interact with content, you interact with each other, and you interact with me. And evaluation is basically how you're graded. So it's pretty straightforward, and this is a nice organization for a class. You've probably seen this in several of your classes, but I believe it's a good process. There's a flow to all online classes, and it tends to run Monday to Sunday. In this particular class, by Thursday, you're going to be at least starting some tweet conversation on Twitter. I typically have posts due either Thursday or Friday, and just kind of check that to see. This is a small class, so I probably will wait till Friday for the weekly discussion board post. And that's the main thing you're doing in this class on a week-to-week basis, is reflecting and sharing in discussion boards. There are going to be some other assignments, and those typically are due on Sunday. Also between Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, you'll be responding to your classmates on both Twitter and in the discussion boards. Some major assignments in this particular class, besides the weekly participation, which you'll notice if you do the tweets and you do the weekly discussion board, that's 25% of your grade right there. In week 3, we're going to be looking at search as a process, and you're going to be actually doing a search on a website and writing a short paper to kind of synthesize your reflection about how to search. Then we're going to have, as I said, a 4-week process using Diigo for curating web resources and thinking about what that might mean. You'll actually use those resources to write an analysis of Web 2.0 through Miller's lenses of attention, memory, and thinking. Between the Diigo resource and the analysis, you're going to get some good use of that tool. And then finally, we're going to be looking at making some content, and you'll actually be creating some short screencasts and sharing those. So that's the course in a nutshell. Let me just show you 2 quick things. Okay, so just coming into the course here, there's a Start Here section that this video will be sitting right here, but here's some course setup information. There's also a survey in here to take the first week. For the weekly lessons, okay, so if I look at week 1, again, here's that PI process that I talked about earlier. You can either navigate by using these little tabs here or go into specific pages over here. But under preparation, there's a bit about what we're going to be doing, a perspective. I always start off with that. Then an overview of the module, and the learning objectives for the week, and always a task list of when things are due. Under interactions, here's where you find the readings. if you want to call it a lecture, that would be here. Typically I include some videos with that. Yeah. This is a join the conversation. Anytime you see the little bird, that means you're supposed to go out on Twitter. And then, of course, the first week you're going to be introducing yourself and joining in the first conversation. And so the evaluation piece for the first week is simply do the things you're required to do. If we go back and look at like week 3, right, in week 3 we're going to be looking at web-based searches. Under the interactions, give you some information about doing advanced searches, looking at how to find out more information about a website. And when it comes time for the evaluation, there's not only a discussion about it, but there's a paper due, and that would be submitted right here under upload assignment. So I think you're familiar with Blackboard, but that's the setup here. And if you haven't seen TweetDeck before, this is what TweetDeck looks like. This happens to be my particular one. These are my home tweets for the people I'm following. Anyone that sends me a tweet, like Connie did right here, or Rick did right here, those show up under notifications. And then I've started following the hashtag EDU6323. The ones that are in here are from, looks like about 4 months ago when someone else taught this course. But as we start tweeting, these will get replaced very quickly. So this makes it very easy for me to spot any tweets that someone has sent to the class because they include the hashtag EDU6323. All right, and you notice it doesn't matter whether it's uppercase or lowercase, it still comes through. All right, so that pretty well gives you a rundown of the course, what we're going to be talking about. I'm looking forward to it. I always have fun in this course, and I'm looking forward to getting to know each of you better. So see you online.